Here is the fourth video of the IELTS Writing, Task 1. Okay, here's our next script. Two charts. Let's look at the word count. Word count comes in at 188 words. A little bit lengthy, but nothing too terrible. Let's look at what we have here. Okay, so the first chart. The chart below shows the amount of money per week spent on fast foods in Britain. The graph shows the trend in consumption of fast foods. So we have expenditure and consumption. Okay, so up, up, down. Major trends here is this white. What's the white? Hamburgers. Hamburgers down. Oh, that's not working. No, it's not working. Let's try this. Oh, come on. I'm trying to draw a graph here. Fish and chips. Fish and chips looks like this. And pizza seems to just be down, 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 down. Okay, so some different trends there. Let's look at the overview. The bar chart shows the amount of money expended on fast food according to 3 different income groups. High income, average income, low income. Okay, fair enough. And then here, to talk about the line graph. The line graph indicates the general pattern for fast food consumption between 1970 and 1990. 1970, 1990, fast food consumption, yeah. I don't know why this is not put together, but okay, there it is in 2 different paragraphs. Okay, so hamburger is the most popular fast food in high and average income groups. Yeah, that's true. People in high income spend over 40 pence per person per week. Why is week spelled like that? Is this pence? How do we know that? Why would it be so little? What is this date? 1990. How do we know that this is the correct unit? Here are just numbers. How do we know it's not pounds? Okay, so there's no unit given. This person chose pence. I would personally have chosen pounds, but okay. 40 pence, it's too little. Fish and chips is the most popular food for those in low income. Fish and chips, yeah. It's the least popular. Okay. So this person is giving us the most popular foods for each income group. Fish and chips. It's the least popular. See, we have all these things here, but there's no data. The only data is this, 40 pence. Fish and chips is the most popular food for those in low income. Well, yeah, but how much did they spend? You don't tell us that. The numbers are missing. If the numbers are missing, that means there may be no data to support the description. So 5, you need to give us the data if you're going to be making claims. The line graph indicates the general pattern of fast food consumption. Yeah. Obviously, there was a sharp increase in the consumption of hamburgers during this time period. This is too lengthy. These 2 sentences should be combined so you can get this number in. So it went from 100 grams to... Why is this a different sentence? To over 500 grams. I don't know why this is over 3 sentences. You just need 1 sentence to tell us this. Pizza also increased, but it was not so dramatic. Fish and chips already dropped slightly. Where are the numbers? No numbers. Okay, so task achievement 5. Let's look at the coherence and cohesion. Okay, so hamburger is the most popular food. People in high income spend. But these two are not linked. You tell us it's the most popular food, most popular fast food. People spend 40 pence. But why are these sentences not linked? You're talking about how popular they are, but your ideas are not connected. Although it is the least popular. Okay, pizza on the other hand. Okay, so it's to show contrast. There's some referencing. The line graph indicates what? Before around 1993, fish and chips was the most popular fast foods. After that, hamburgers increased sharply. So you're talking about fish and chips? Oh, here's the word however. Okay. And after that, hamburgers increased sharply, and it became much more popular than the other two fast foods. Okay, so no, not task achievement. Yeah, there is progression, but yeah, cohesion can be faulty between sentences, as we saw here. Okay, so 6. Okay, as far as vocabulary goes, hamburger is. No, not hamburger is. Hamburgers, plural. So hamburgers are the most popular fast food in the high and average income groups. Okay. People in high income. No. People in this group, not people in high income. You're talking about a group, so people in this group. Why is wheat spelled like this? On the consumption of hamburgers, again, plural. Although fish and chips is the most popular food for those in low income, here again we have in low income, in high income, among the low income groups. See, here he uses group. Why not use group here as well? The general pattern of fast food consumption. Okay, in the consumption of hamburgers. See, here it's plural. Why not make it plural here? People in Britain ate less than 100 grams of hamburgers per person per week. Why is this capitalized? The number increased, pizza also increased, but it was not so dramatic. Fish and chips dropped slightly. No, fish and chips didn't drop. The consumption of fish and chips dropped. I just see too many inaccuracies. So minimally adequate. Too many inaccuracies. 5. Let's look at grammar. Now, difference is that here there's no time. Second graph gives us a time period, so we would use the past tense for this and the present tense for the bar chart. Let's see if they did that. Is, yeah. Spend, yeah. On the consumption, all the fish and chips. Okay, so here we have compound sentence. Okay, so here they use the past tense. Okay, so the tenses seem to be okay. Appropriate tenses for different charts. during this time, but I just see simple sentences. But it was not just so dramatic. Okay, so here is a compound sentence, but it's still very simple. Fish and chips was the opposite. Okay, so the tenses are used accurately, but there's just not that range that you're looking for. No, so a limited range. Too many simple sentences. So for grammar 5. Okay, here is our next script. We have a lot of information here in the task. There's a diagram showing the world population from 1400 to 2000, going from 500 million to about 6. And then we have these two pie charts showing the distribution of the world's population in 1900 and 2000. And if you look at the word count, it comes in at 284 words. Really too long. In 20 minutes, you cannot be expected to write that much. This is not a very good example. And if we look at the description, the figures provide general information on world population growth. See, this is one reason why it's so long. We have unnecessary words. It's general information. Why is this here? This whole thing is too wordy. But what I do like is that this person included information on both the first chart, the line chart, and the pie charts in their overview, and everything is in the beginning. They didn't split it up like the other examples we saw, even though there are some problems there also. Okay, the line graph indicates that the world population increased by 12-fold over 6 centuries. Oh, this is so detailed. This is why they wrote 284 words. Okay, so every aspect of this chart is included. I mean, even this modestly falling over the 18th century. So here, modestly falling. I mean, even this is included. That's not necessary. I would say there are three trends. So from 1400 to 1500, there's an uptrend. So I would include this as a data point, and then from 1500 to 1900, I would just say it remained fairly stable from 1500 to 1900. But I would say that it rose from maybe 1.2 billion to, well, that's not really stable, is it? Okay, so from 1500 to 1900, it gradually increased from 1.2 billion to just under 2 billion. And then we saw this explosion here. But really, you don't need to include all these points. It's too much detail. Okay, let's look at this. It's noticeable from figure 2. Why not call it a pie chart? Why is it figure 2? Well, actually, here it's called diagram. Some interesting word choices. The vast majority of people live in Europe and Asia together. Their inhabitants accounted for blah, blah, blah. Other regions. Okay. So basically, we've got the information is grouped into 3 categories. Asia and Europe is put together, and America and Africa, and then all the others. And then here, Europe and Asia are still one group. Regions like America and Africa are catching up. Are they? Are you talking about North America, or which? Oh, Oh, Latin America and Africa are catching up. American and African continents. Now, what is this referred to? Is this North America and Latin America together? Oh gosh. Okay, I don't know if half a percentage increase is catching up, but okay. Okay, so Latin America and Africa are grouped together, and then all the other continents in another group. We have numbers to support the data, well, numbers to support the description, rather. It's not mechanical, so let's say, yeah, 6. It's just too lengthy, though. It's too much unnecessary information. Let's move on and look at cohesion and coherence. Let's get rid of this. World population, world population. Why is there no substitution here? Okay, so this trend increase, it then experiences slight fluctuation. Okay, here we have however to show contrast. During this time, their inhabitants, we have some referencing. Other regions where major concentrations were found were, okay, the above, over the following century to show the times changing. Ooh, whose? Okay, that's good. Okay. Let's see. Can they get a 7? A range of cohesive devices. Well, I don't think there was a range. But information is presented coherently, and there is progression, and cohesive devices are used effectively. 6 is probably a fair score. Let's move on to vocabulary. Why world is capitalized? I don't know, but okay. The line graph indicates that the world population increased by 12 folds. Increased 12-fold, not by 12 folds. Here we should have the world population. This trend continued, bringing the world population. Over the next. Why does it keep falling over the 18th century? And recovering over the next. I'm assuming century here is just omitted, so okay. And ended up by 1900, approximately unchanged from where it was in 1700. Oh, the sentence is so wordy. The last century saw the most dramatic increase over these 6 centuries. The world population. Okay, so there seems to be a systematic error with articles. This person is not using articles correctly. Accessible, the vast of Europe and Asia together, their inhabitants accounted for of the world population again. Where major concentrations, should be plural, were found, were the American and African continents. Okay, again, the world population. On them. On them? I don't think continents have populations on them. And here we have this housing. Regions outside of the above seem marginal by comparison. Housing only 0.5% of the total population. Housing is not the right word to be using here. Housing is like when you live in a house. It refers to accommodation. Contains 0.5% of the total population. Sure. Contains would be a better word. Some changes took place in this general distribution. In 2000, the proportion of the world's population. In 2000, well, this is in the past, so why is this present continuous? These percentages have grown. Okay. Their population now sums up 6% of the world's population. Why is it sums up? That's not the right word to use. This last one is a little bit confusing. Again, we should be using words like contain or something similar. So for vocabulary, yeah, there are some errors in word choice, but it doesn't really impede communication, so possibly a 6. And then if we look at grammar, the line graph indicates, okay, so the present tense is used correctly here, and the past tense is used correctly here. Grew, okay, past tense, at a slow rate, bringing, oh, the bringing is good. But then experienced a slight fluctuation, modestly falling. I do like this bringing and falling. Ended up by 9% changed. Past tense again. Tripled to reach. That's a good phrase. Their inhabitants accounted for. Their major, well, I mentioned this already under vocabulary. This should be plural. Marks by comparison, housing. Some changes took place. Okay, so past tense is used accurately. Here we have the past perfect tense. Could they get a 7? Produces frequent error-free sentences. Well, yeah. Not always, but frequently. But again, biggest problem is the length, 284 words. This is not a realistic example of what writing should look like. So when I say if they could get a 7 for grammar, just keep that in mind. It's not a very realistic example.